Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Supergirl issue 14, written and with art by Sophie Campbell, colors by Tamara Bonvillain and letters by Becca Carey. Argo City returns, as in the ruined bottled city of Kandor. Lesla's creations rescue Lena, who the Black Flame tossed out of the sky while battling Connor. The super substance people begin to argue amongst themselves about why they are all there, as Limlas reveals that Lesla and Supergirl told them to get to safety since they are finally standing up to the Black Flame. But some of the other creations don't think that that will ever be happening. I'm really glad these guys are actually getting some character. They are some fun new creations and I don't think they've been given enough to do really. So getting them to be part of the Lena Connor B plot is a nice idea, especially since it's echoing a lot of Supergirl's plot with her trying to help get Kandor out of the thumb of the Science Council, and you know, the super substance people are under the thumb of the Black Flame, and that this is them seeing what Supergirl is doing and how she's been helping Lesla and how they've risen up against those villains, and now they're doing the exact same here against the Black Flame, and now they're helping Lena and probably Connor. Lena awakens wondering who these guys are, and Limlas introduces them as the Super Substance Science Scouts, the ones who saved her. Lena, however, notices Candy the Super Bunny, figuring out these guys know who Lesla La is, and the group tell her that she is off with Supergirl in the Tower of Zon. Before they can head off towards the tower, the group spot the Black Flame, Thundergirl, and the now defeated Superboy heading to the tower to finish Supergirl and Lesla off. Kara and Lesla, meanwhile, continue exploring the dilapidated city of Argo, learning the Science Council recovered it from the ocean it crashed into and shrunk it down and brought it to Kandor for study and salvage. Kara thinks that thanks to her cyborg form, she is much like Argo City, a shadow of their former selves, but Lesla doesn't believe that at all, showing Kara something she found during her exploration of the city, a sun crystal. Kara is shown a special machine where a big yellow crystal glows within it, a crystal that when she gets closer to it reacts to her, showing her the House of El symbol, which Lesla believes is the crystal calling to Kara. Kara believes that this is the sun crystal that Superman told her about from El Caldero, and now it's somehow resonating with her. Now this is an interesting development and a great little tie into Slott's Superman Unlimited series. I really like that this tie-in also feels organic, like this is something you would expect to find in a destroyed Kryptonian city. It doesn't feel like Campbell has been forced to shoehorn in something from Slott's book to get Supergirl involved in the upcoming Kingdom of Zod event. It feels very organic, and I was really wondering how Supergirl was going to factor into that event, being that her book, issue 16, kicks off the Kingdom of Zod event. Kara believes that the crystal is calling to her since Superman is now gone thanks to the Omega tournament, and Lesla knows that if Superman truly is gone for good, that makes Kara the heiress of El, finding her perfect for the role. Kara though thinks she's not ready, being that she's a total mess of metal and flesh now, but Lesla doesn't see that. She sees the hero Kara is, and Kara doesn't have to do this alone. Lesla going from the last issue where she wasn't sure what to do, not really wanting to help Kara, and just generally being scared of the Black Flame, to now immediately wanting to be Kara's grounding rod and someone who reminds her of what a hero is, came off a little odd. It felt like a little bit too fast. Like this sort of stuff should have been happening at the end of the issue when she's gone through just that little bit more of a character development, because the time between issues 13 and this issue is like minutes, and this feels like she's had a little bit longer to sort of gestate everything that Kara told her in that last issue, where Kara kind of really went off at her and told her to kind of grow up and be her own person and everything, and then minutes later she's now doing this. It just feels like they're rushing it a little bit too fast in some places. Kara wants to deal with Black Flame first, telling Lesla that with the yellow ring of Norcan, Zora is unbeatable. Lesla doesn't think they have that many options, and Kara's cybernetics are powerful, but they're unreliable. However, they might be able to outsmart or trick the villain. Lena arrives in the chamber, surprising Kara and Lesla as she tells them about Zora having Connor. Luckily, Lena has a plan to make Kara whole again, understanding things are a bit bumpy between them right now, but Kara tells her that doesn't matter anymore since she needs all the friends she can get right now, wanting to hear her friend's plan. Lena reveals a device that she had designed to make a new suit for Supergirl, and she can turn the super substance into a reagent that could allow her powers to come back even under the red sunlight of Kandor. She reveals the project is called the S-Matrix suit, and she just needs some super substance to make it work. I got a good laugh over Campbell's dialogue here for Lena, since it's just classic sci-fi jargon talk. She's talking about all the different ways the S-Matrix works and how it does this stuff with the DNA and the super substance reagent. It's just complete bullshit science stuff, and I love the idea. And knowing Campbell, that was 100% intentional, because it's such a big paragraph of just nonsense. Calling the suit the Matrix is neat as well. It's a nice reference back to the Matrix Supergirl of the 80s and 90s. Leslie reveals that she actually has some of the super substance on her and gives it to Lena, activating the device which covers Kara in a pink slime, which, thanks to the energy it is gathering nearby from Argo City, it begins healing Kara of her wounds, removing all of the cybernetic implants from her body. Before the goo can finish its job though, the black flame arrives, blasting Kara back into the destroyed city, causing a wall to collapse on her, leaving Leslie and Lena at the mercy of the villain. Zora demands that her cousin explain herself, and Leslie falls back into her timid, stammering ways pretty quickly, unable to talk properly, and instead just decide to back Zora again. Zora becomes frustrated, grabbing Lena and calling her useless since she knew she would betray her for Supergirl. Zora takes note of the Brainiac symbol on Lena's head, realizing it's related to Brainiac himself, the being who shrunk Kandor in the first place, leading to their situation right now. I was really hoping they would pull this card out where they have some Kandorians recognize, hey, Lena is kinda sorta related to Brainiac. She's got the Brainiac symbol on her head. She lived with Brainiac for a very, very long time. Brainiac was basically her father for a long time. So I'm glad they sort of brought that back here, where a Kandorian recognizes her and has just utter disdain for her and what her quote-unquote father did to Kandor. Leslie immediately folds and explains who Lena is, thinking that she could be of great use, so Zora uses her freeze breath to freeze Lena in place, thinking they can use her later to unshrink the city. Laura shows Leslie the collar she pulled from one of the Kandorian Council Thunder people, calling it a solar reservoir that gave a bunch of Kandorian clones powers inside of Kandor. She wants Leslie to figure out how to implant it into her so she doesn't have to use the ring anymore, and Leslie gets to work, but reveals Kandorians aren't accustomed to all of that energy and it could overload their cells and give them solar radiation poisoning. Before Leslie can do anything though, Supergirl smashes out of the debris, now fully healed and clad in her new white outfit. Black Flame doesn't care about the new costume or having her powers back, coming for Kara, but Supergirl's new powers allow her to go toe-to-toe with Zora, socking her right in the jaw. I really like this new costume. It's a bright new look for Kara, and the white and blue really pop off the page. I don't think this suit is going to last very long, being that we've seen her in a more, classic Supergirl costume for Kingdom of Zod, but man, it's just a great new suit for her, and I'd love for her to come back to it more in the future. It just makes her look so much different than the other Superman family members. It makes her stand out a little bit more. Zora decides to try and play some mind games with Kara, telling her that she just let the council run things while she popped in and out every once in a while, not caring about what was happening to the city and what was happening to Leslie. Kara is ready for the villain's mind games, telling her it won't work on her this time as she grabs the villain's arms, preventing her from hitting her. Zora keeps on going though, thinking that Kara can barely be considered Kryptonian these days, learning everything from Leslie and how she hid out amongst the humans for years, living like an earthling and getting imbued in their culture. Kara gets angry at that, kneeling her in the gut and telling her that she didn't really have a choice. Angered, Zora readies for a heat vision blast, telling Kara that Kandor is beyond saving because Kara and Superman didn't bother to try and help it when it needed it. I have really been liking how Zora's grievances have evolved from she wanted to just help the newer generations grow and be their own people, free from being told what to do and how to do it by the older generations, but now her true colors are starting to come out, and she just wants to be the one in charge and view herself as superior. She wants to be where the Science Council are right now. It's something, it's really funny. It's kind of like the story we're seeing over in the Captain America book by Chip Zdarsky at the moment, where there's always that person who wants to like free the masses from the tyranny of like a king or like a ruler, and then that person ends up falling into the same pitfalls as that previous ruler and ends up becoming a despot themselves. Seeing that here with Zora a lot as well, and I quite like that, and I like that she is okay with that. She doesn't care that this is what she turns into. She kind of wants it. It's actually really nice. I quite like it. It's a fun little like twist on that whole thing, where usually the person doesn't want to see that they're becoming the bad guy, but Zora just kind of does, because she kind of just rolls with it, and I quite like that in a villain. Before Kara is hit by the heat vision, her suit shields her, turning into some bladed weaponry on her fists so she can fight back. So I guess the suit Kara has now is technically a symbiote. I mean, it is the super substance. It's like what the super substance people are made out of, so it makes sense that it would be a living organism, and I think that's damn cool. Again, like I think we're going to see some pretty awesome stuff with her in this suit. Hopefully, if writers remember it. I feel like Sophie Campbell might be the only one who remembers that she's going to have a practically living costume on her now. I think some of the other guys writing it might forget about that amongst the whole Kingdom of Zod stuff, but it's going to be fun to see if Sophie deploys this in some really interesting ways. Like here, I thought that was really cool that she gets like the bladed weaponry. The suit leaps off her body to like shield her and everything from heat vision blasts. It's really cool, and I'm intrigued to see what she does with it. Kara remembers Lena telling her that the suit will respond to her thoughts, and she uses the new weapons to fight back, telling Zora that she is sick of her and how she treats Lesla. Kara stabs Zora in the shoulder, telling her that she has had it with her and how she destroys her own home for no reason whatsoever, while Kara's own home is in ruin and she will do anything to have what Zora has. Zora tries to explain that Lesla looking up to her is her own fault, but Kara has had enough, hitting her in the face over and over again. Lesla, however, tells them both to stop with the never-ending violence, but Zora demands that she shut up and stop whining, grabbing the woman's arm and snapping it in a fit of rage. Kara threatens to hurt Zora more, maybe even possibly kill her if she continues hurting Lesla, but the villain knows that she won't do anything and she is going to leave Kandor, otherwise Lesla and many others will be killed by her hand. While Zora is distracted by giving her demands to Kara, Lesla uses the opportunity to slap the solar reservoir onto her neck, which powers her up into her Luminary form, allowing her to finally stand up to Zora alongside Supergirl. I am very happy that Lesla is finally standing up to her cousin and using her Luminary form again, this time for a bit more heroic purposes. It feels so satisfying seeing Zora getting what is coming to her, since she has been a really fun, petty villain this last arc, and a great foil for Kara with her relationship with Lesla, highlighting a lot of Kara's own frustration with her own cousin Superman and how she often feels like she's trapped in his shadow, much like Lesla, though in that case there's no like animosity between Kara and Clark either. It's just something that happened because he's Superman. I'm looking forward to the arc rounding out with the Supergirl Luminary team up again, and where this leaves the characters going into Kingdom of Zod. Supergirl issue 14 was a great penultimate issue to the Kandor storyline, keeping up the great back and forths between Kara and Zora. I do think Lesla's arc this issue felt slightly rushed in some places. It definitely got to the point I assumed her arc was headed, with her finally turning her back on Zora and fighting back against her abuser, something I thought was really well handled. I've been loving all of the stuff between Lesla and Kara and how Sophie Campbell is drawing a lot of parallels between both of them. You know, both believe they are in the shadow of their much more charismatic and out there cousin, and I like that Kara is teaching her she doesn't have to be in that shadow anymore. It's been a very rewarding little side arc for her to deal with across this entire Kandor arc, and I'm really excited to see where it goes in the final issue before we head into Kingdom of Zod in a couple of weeks. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.